Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. An upcoming survival show has been put under fire for continuing plans to premiere the show even whilst being boycotted, but then being cancelled again? The boycott and protest were put in place for an astonishing reason, that being that the show consists of trainees and participants, all who are under the age of 15. Some even as young as 5. But before we go any further, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Earlier this year, it was announced that a new survival show by the name Under 15 was set to premiere on the 31st of March. The following was said about the show: Under 15 is the world's first audition to discover K-pop prodigies under the age of 15. Among the girls from over 70 countries worldwide, 59 talented participants have been selected, showcasing a variety of races, nationalities, and genres. These young stars will captivate audiences with their hexagonal charm, a combination of visuals, performance, and vocal talent, creating a new history for K-pop and thrilling fans around the world. Viewers immediately rose up to point out that this is exploitation of young minors and should not be allowed, calling out that most viewers are not interested in watching 10-year-olds dancing around. Therefore, the only people who would be watching the show would be old creeps, which is highly exploitative of the young girls. Some comments highlighting the absurdity of the situation wrote things like, "Since it's under 15, they'll probably have 13-year-olds doing sexy dances. Just imagining it makes me want to throw up." And shouldn't this be reported to the police? Netizens online were adamant in ensuring that the show would not go to air and held strong boycotts and protests online, refusing to watch or interact with the show in any way. A production brief was held by the co-production CEO, ᴄʀᴇᴅɪᴛ꽱, who reacted in a way that further enraged people. Hwang broke into tears in front of the press and claimed that by boycotting or canceling the show, there would be significant impacts on both the contestants and their parents. She said that she wanted to clarify that there was a significant misunderstanding in people's perception of the show. She displayed a Kakao Talk message she had with the designer. In the messages, there was a picture of what looked like a typical student ID card. She explained that the designer is a female in her 30s. "We thought of this audition show set as a school. We thought they were here to receive training from good teachers. The concept for this content was a student ID. It's an image that comes up immediately when you search on Google. Modern student ID cards include barcodes and birth dates, but we couldn't include birth dates, so we only included ages instead." It seemed that the concept of the show was that it would be a school-like environment where students would be competing with other students for a spot in what was to be a K-pop group. She went on to explain the maximum age limit for the auditionees is under 15, and justified it by saying that she has experience in the field of creating young K-pop groups. In the early 2010s, she directed a program called K-Pop Star, where there were both adult and teenage contestants, but the teenage contestant performed significantly better and won multiple prizes throughout the show, which surprised the older generation at the time. She further justified her actions by trying to appear sympathetic by saying, "There were instances where young trainees were left behind due to institutional barriers simply because of their young age, so we wanted to open up an unexplored field through the audition format." To explain her statement, she believed that barriers were created that resulted in young trainees not being able to debut and were stripped of opportunities all because they were very young. So she wanted to open up an unprecedented show where young trainees could achieve their dream of being a K-pop idol. She went on trying to guilt-trip the general public by trying to appear empathetic towards the trainees, saying that the children aren't even considering the possibility of the broadcast being cancelled. They are still practicing hard and doing their best. They are very much looking forward to the broadcast. That's their sincere feeling. As the production team, we are saddened by the great pain caused by the distortion. She wanted the audience to feel bad that these girls were working hard for the show and never even considered that people would see something wrong with the show. Mind you that these are 10 to 13-year-olds who may not still realize how horrible things can be outside of their little bubble of childhood. They might not understand that disgusting and creepy sick people exist who aren't watching their show because they find them talented or impressive. It didn't get any better, as she went even further to say that canceling the broadcast would be devastating. The pain felt by these young contestants and their families would be beyond imagination. "We are doing our best to showcase their sincere efforts and hard work to the world in its entirety." Proving her continued efforts into guilt-tripping people to feel bad for these little girls, netizens were shocked to see how far the team was willing to go to try and insist on the release of their controversial survival show, going as far as to say things like, "There were instances where young trainees were left behind due to institutional barriers simply because of their young age, so we wanted to open up an unexplored field through the audition format." Up until now, everyone had assumed that the youngest contestant couldn't be any younger than 10, with many thinking that was even way too young. But it was a little later on that audiences were made aware of exactly how young the participants were going to be. On March 13th, TV Report published an article mentioning a 2024 interview of PD Lee Kook-yeon, one of the producers and involved in the show's making. In the interview, Lee had shared that Under 15 would feature contestants as young as 5 years old. His exact statement in the interview read, "Some participants are as young as 5 years old. Our audition itself is a verification process. There are many kids who shine in 10 to 30-second short videos, but we want to find the real talents among them." 5 years old. That's not old enough to even start school in many countries across the world. These little girls are not able to even read or write properly yet, and these producers want them to be thrown into the harsh K-pop industry, where there are high numbers of abuse, neglect, starvation, and other pressures that even the adults can barely handle. At this point, netizens started calling out parents for even allowing this to occur. They pointed out that these young children didn't just sign up and audition on their own. Their parents most likely found out about the audition and signed away their young girls. Some may try to excuse it by saying that it's the girls' dreams. These girls are 5 to 15. If it truly is their passion and dream, then waiting 10 to 15 more years shouldn't prove to be difficult. This is a way to exploit young children and use them as a money machine for the parents and companies who think debuting anyone under 15 is okay. Proof of this exploitation is when video teasers were released in an attempt to hype up the show, and the girls, all who are under 15, were dressed in body-tight, skin-revealing clothes. Netizens were infuriated to see these little girls in cropped shirts, with their stomach, legs, and shoulders out. They pointed out that this would bait creeps to see the girls as anything other than that, little girls. These discussions led to netizens talking about one of the show's producers, Han Dong-chul. He began working as a Manette producer back in 1998, and is the brain behind some of Korea's most popular survival shows, including Show Me the Money, Unpretty Rap Star, 16, and Produce 101. Netizens pointed out a highly inappropriate and controversial statement he made back in 2016 with High Cut magazine. During this interview, he revealed that he started the Produce 101 series as a girl group because he wanted to make healthy 18+ content for men. This is a show that featured multiple minors. His interview statement read, "Basically, if a program is well-structured and solid, people will watch it regardless of gender. It's a matter of quality. As for why I started with the female version first, I'm not quite sure how to put this, but I thought, I want to create healthy 18+ content for men. Like, take a look at the contestants. They're like younger sisters or nieces, and they're cute, right? I wanted to make that kind of 18+ content for the male viewers." So, the male version, on the other hand, is about making 18+ content for women. In the past, Rain's performances were like 18+ content for women. The male version of Produce 101 is about fulfilling that kind of fantasy, and if it's entertaining enough, then men will watch it too. I actually think the male version will be even more competitive and explosive, making it much more fun. This disgusted people online and further fueled the reason for canceling the show and urged the company to respond. The company only said, "All under 15 contestants voluntarily applied with the consent of their guardians." Regardless of this push to cancel the show, they eventually finished recording, and it was mentioned that 7 members were chosen for the final lineup. The show's cancellation was eventually announced, and the public was relieved that they did not allow such plans to go ahead, especially considering all the problematic aspects of even creating a show such as this one with the contestants being young children. However, it has recently been announced that the show will be premiering after all, just not in Korea. It seems that KBS refused to stream the show in Korea, so the producers, after losing their partnership, partnered with KBS and are instead going to have the show premiered in Japan. The show's name has also been changed from Under 15 to A Star is Born. The date that it has chosen to be premiered also garnered backlash, as it is going to start streaming on the 11th of August, which is the day of Korea's independence from Japan. Viewers were infuriated at the ignorance of the producers for choosing such a date to premiere a show objectifying Korean minors for Japanese audiences. However, I would like to point out it seems that the show has been once again canceled and will not be airing. This consistent on and off has bothered netizens who want the show to be permanently canceled and never hear of such an idea ever again. That's all for today though. Let me know what you think is the best outcome for this situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.